Coming up on this week's show, Volvo wows yet again with the sublime EX90.
It's got single pedal driving that you can activate immediately here, and that means that when you lift off the accelerator, you don't have to use the brake. Like that.
The Toyota RAV4 receives the Gazoo Racing treatment for the very first time.
When it comes to the RAV4, though, it's going to be either a standard hybrid or that plug-in hybrid option. So those are the two. But when you get into the plug-in hybrid option, so the PHEV, you're always going to get more power.
And Ford blends everyday practicality with sporty flair in the Tourneo Custom.
Ford has said themselves that they would love to sell this car to a consumer who is living their life on the edge, who's very adventurous and very sporty.
Hello, and welcome to a brand new episode of Ignition GT, where every week we bring you the very best in local and international motoring news. Joining me in studio to share their views are two familiar faces, Edwin Makwane and Puti Mpiane. Puti, Edward, very welcome to the studio.
Thanks, Danny.
You guys have your jackets on. So that means we need to talk some serious business here. But jokes aside, it's a turning point in the industry, isn't it? Puti, let's start with you. Chery's taken over, or has agreed to take over Plant Roslyn, the Nissan factory that's been in existence with Nissan for decades. The first time that something like this, quite like this, has happened. And Chery aims to also keep the local staff on at this plant. There's no more talk of the Chinese not wanting to invest in South Africa.
Let me kick off with saying, famous saying that says nostalgia is not a strategy. I picked that up from our boss this week. Yes, change.
Nostalgia is not a strategy. It's sinking in. I like that. Nostalgia is indeed not a strategy. Yeah.
Exactly.
Interesting.
Change is constant. You get this news now that Chery is taking over the Nissan plant, and it makes sense because if you are in the business of expansion, especially onto the African market, you don't want to do it from a plant such as Mercedes-Benz, where they also had a feasibility study done as well. You want to go where Nissan or any other brand has already put the systems, they've got the infrastructure to actually export into the rest of Africa. Yeah. So while everybody is saying, yes, they're crying about the jobs and all that, I have a different view for it. I think it's a positive thing. You know, and if anybody has to cry about this, it has to be Mr. Makwana here, because he used to work next door.
Mr. Makwana, with that controversial news. From my perspective, I'm chatting to some industry people about Nissan specifically. It's not necessarily all bad news for them. Now it opens up their product portfolio to potentially become an importer like Kia or one of the other brands. What are your thoughts on this?
Yeah, look, I think there's positives and negatives. I think the positive thing is the saving of jobs. The second part, yes, is Nissan moving into an import model. But what does it mean? Could it mean that they're going to lose the benefits that they had for producing here? Yeah. Because, I mean, a lot of the cars that produce here, as we know, you get some sort of rebate for producing here to kind of, make sure that your pricing on vehicles is affordable enough. So does it mean now that the new petrol that they say is still coming later this year?
Will they still be competitive?
Will they still be competitive? Or are they going to now kind of go into cars, bring cars that are expensive, for example? So that is that. So I think also on the other hand, as we know, I think Chinese brands and labor markets, labor movements, sometimes it's not such a good combination. So are they going to drive labor hard, or what does that mean? Or are they going to be able to adjust to the South African culture of labor relations? Or are we going to see more butting of heads with Evan, Jim, Noomsa, and Jerry? So there's a lot to look at. I mean, also we still need to know the price tag. How much did Chery pay, etc., etc. What model are they going to build? There's rumor that it's going to be the Tiggo 4 or something.
Or the Bakkie.
Or the Bakkie
A Chery Bakkie though versus a Navara, it's a totally different.
So that's that. And again, as much as it's about taking over the tools and all those sort of things, what other adjustments can we expect? Because surely it's not just going to be a plug and play, it's going to be plug and check.
Yeah. Moving on, and 2025 proved to be an incredible business and busy year for Volvo. Not only did the ES90 sedan make its global debut, but on the home front, the Swedish company introduced updated versions of the XC90, XC60 SUVs. The all-electric incarnation of the XC90 also joined the local production range, and I spent some time with the new EV flagship.
This is the 2.65 million rand Volvo EX90 fully electric 7-seater luxury SUV. And I'm here to tell you why I think this is one of the best cars on the road at the moment. Now, the best is a subjective term, and there's a lot of factors that go into that. If you browse the classifieds, you could save yourself as much as 400,000 rand on a demo model EX90. 400,000. 2.65 minus 400,000. That's a big saving. Because there's no engine bay, you don't need a grille, so this front smoothed off section looks amazing. Gorgeous 22-inch wheels. Then you've got this rear view mirror over here that has got not much of an outside section. Now, I gotta say, I'm not a big fan of this rear view mirror housing all the cameras here. These door handles here are flush, but you do have soft touch doors. Volvo has made this look quite clean, which I think gives it a bit more of a luxurious look on the car. The smooth lines everywhere, which continue all the way to the back. And wow, that is a good-looking rear section of a car. 384 litres at the back here and up to 2,185 if you fold down all the seats. You've also got little stowage over here, which of course means there's no spare wheel to be seen. And I gotta say, this isn't the most class-leading boot space in a 7-seater. You do, however, interestingly get adjustable suspension at the back that you can lower the car quite low and load things in a bit easier. You can also fold down the rear row of seats electrically from the back. This is awesome. It's so spacious, ergonomical. My arm slots into this gap, but I must say it's a little bit tight. Then you've got 2 USB-C ports over there, heated seats, and your air conditioning system. Very, very, very nice at the back here, and a place I could definitely chill and get used to. Speaking of chill, it's got one of the biggest and coolest looking panoramic roofs I've seen in a while. But for some other reason, probably because this is a car from the Northern Hemisphere, you can't close this. There's no curtain. Let's talk about what's happening in front here. And although some of this might come off as negative, when you're paying 2.6 million rand for a car, I've got to point out the things that are good and that I don't personally like. So let's start with the interesting fact of this key. That is the smallest key I've ever seen. It should be easy to stick in your pocket, but also probably easy to lose. You've got to charge it in the center console here so that it doesn't discharge, but very interesting that this is the key and it charges over there. Volvo is all about luxury material, but also recycled material. And these seats are so luxurious, but this is not real leather. This is probably not real wood either, but it does look and feel fantastic, and it does work in this white if you can keep it clean. The seats, of course, ergonomically designed, and Volvo has its signature 25-speaker Bowers & Wilkins sound system. The speakers at the back here as well. Let's talk about screens. You've got this big center screen here, and everything goes through the Google Assistant. Does take a little bit of getting used to. Then you've got the small screen in front here that can be controlled via the steering wheel for the various options. And although small, it fits perfectly in between this space here by the steering wheel, which makes the ergonomics good. These days, heated seats and heated steering wheel, of course, standard, and Volvo, of course, one of the pioneers of massage seats, has incorporated that into these front seats as well. So before we start going in any car, we need to check rear view mirrors, we need to check steering position, and all of that is controlled via this central screen over here. The most commonly used features are at the bottom of the screen, but everything else is inside here, including things like fog lights, etc. So you have to make sure that all of those things are set before you actually hit the road. Once everything is set, there's no need to start the car. You just get in, stick it into drive, it now starts up. It does take a little bit of time for the electric steering to come to life though. But when it does, what an experience. It is absolutely quiet in here. The suspension is so incredibly soft. It's got no rear wheel steering, but the turning circle is very, very sharp. Let's talk numbers now. 380 kilowatts, 910 Newton meters of torque, and a range of, according to Volvo, 600. Now, depending on how you drive, you can extend that quite a lot. And electric cars really punish you when you decide to push on, but reward you when you drive sensibly. Now, remember earlier on I was saying about these rearview mirrors? During the day, it's totally fine. But at night, it kind of fades into the background, and I found it very difficult to use that rearview mirror at night. It's got single pedal driving that you can activate immediately here, and that means that when you lift off the accelerator, you don't have to use the brake. Like that. Also, it detects what's happening in front of you with other cars and then brakes automatically then. Performance is really, really adequate, and for a car like this, I feel like it's well balanced and sort of well thought out. Your highway driving's fun, instant, corners and brakes very nicely. There's so many more features on this car that I could mention, like the autonomous driving system and all the menus in that screen. For those that are interested, I would suggest going to play around with this car and see what you think versus some of its competitors in the electric space. It's effectively, if you don't count Polestar, Volvo's most advanced car, and I do like this car.
Welcome back to Ignition GT. Powerful yet efficient, luxurious yet sustainable, the Volvo EX90 is everything you'd expect from an all-electric high-end Scandinavian SUV. That segment includes a few equally accomplished rivals. However, how does the Volvo stack up? The EX90, it's expensive. It's certainly flawed in some ways because it's the first of its kind, being so software dependent. I don't care, I still love it, man.
It's also cool. It's also
cool.
fast,
It's so
spacious. You get where I'm going.
I know,
with it.
right?
I like this car.
I love this car. Okay, so we're sorted. Edward, what are you thinking?
Yeah, I think there are certainly things to love and certain things to get used to that might kind of irritate one. I think one irritation for me was remembering to charge the key. You know, I don't know how
I never had that problem, but I heard about it.
Yes, I think probably 3 motoring scribes that I've spoken to who had a similar issue. I mean, I remember one day I was heading out to Potchefstroom. So I had an appointment in Potchefstroom and, went to the car and then trying to open, nothing was happening.
Then you got to do that weird little thing, isn't it?
You know, I had to phone the fleet manager to sort of, remind me how to do it.
Yeah.
So you've got a wireless charger at home, you just charge it on there.
But what if I'm in the middle of nowhere?
So that's the problem. Hence I say, for some people, it's going to be really a
So
huge irritation.
for me, it would be interesting to see if they would just change back to any other Volvo key. Why would they not make these things, improve these things in later iterations? Maybe that might be the case.
Again, nostalgia is not a strategy.
Oh, why are you dropping all these tooth bombs here, Ankile?
My only issue with the key was the size of the key, more than
You could lose that thing quite easily.
essentially.
Yeah.
I mean, you would lose it anywhere, even on your own body.
And a company like Volvo, someone that's so focused on ergonomics and so in touch with ergonomics and these types of things, to me, that seems like a miss from someone that shouldn't miss on a topic like that.
Well, on the key side, I mean, I know Mr. Makwana is not happy with the sensor system, but again, one thing that I love, a lot of people are not happy with Volvo's punching of every feature in a digital menu. I think, to me, that is progress. You know, I say, don't make your problems with dyslexia or whatever the car's problems.
They did leave the volume knob there. Eh? They did leave the volume knob. But
Is it enough?
So, lastly, cost-wise, at 2.5 million, would you advise that car as opposed to something from BMW, Audi that's potentially not electric?
It is designed for what you say is early adopters, people who want an EV.
And are willing to take the depreciation hit?
It's not even about the depreciation, it's about what is at hand. We've got space for a family, you've got absolute luxury. Silent driving, to me that is luxury. Silence is luxury.
So speaking of luxury, that is your literal department, Edward. The final word on the topic from you?
I think, look, design-wise, yes, I agree. Look, it looks good. I think it can do well. I see certainly a lot of executives probably considering it, because remember, your JC listed companies as well, the leaders there are also trying to be seen to be doing the right thing and driving sustainable cars.
I would do the right thing and drive an EX90. We stay with new energy vehicles now, and a rather interesting new offering from Toyota.
Toyota was the pioneer when it comes to the hybrid technology, of course. Almost all of our vehicles are available now in a hybrid version or a plug-in hybrid version. We have something for everyone. This is the GR RAV4 PHEV. That's plug-in hybrid electric vehicle. So that means it's going to be able to, do a little bit of both. You have the hybrid, or you can plug it in for a full electric range of up to 52 miles. So it really gives you the best of both worlds. What you're going to see is more power when it comes to the plug-in hybrid electric vehicles. So kind of putting the GR badging into this just made a little bit more sense when it comes to like the power and the performance of the vehicle. This actually has the GR body kit on the RAV4, so it's giving you more of that like race-inspired type design. Kind of the first time the RAV4 is actually dabbling more so into the race world. When you think, Toyota Gazoo Racing, you're thinking, Supra, you're thinking maybe our GR Corolla, GR Corolla Cross, things like that. But this is the first time that you're seeing the RAV4 dabble more so into the race-inspired type design. We've seen it dabble into, like, let's say, the off-road type community with some of our TRD off-road packages. This is kind of giving you more so like an inside look into like the power that's going to be in the PHEV, if you will. So with that one, you're kind of getting more power than, let's say, your just regular standard hybrid. It's almost 100 horsepower difference, actually. So I feel like they chose this one for that GR, body kit and package to, obviously you want power, right, when you think of racing. So that's kind of where the design aspect came from. When it comes to the RAV4, though, it's going to be either a standard hybrid or that plug-in hybrid option. So those are the two. But when you get into the plug-in hybrid option, so the PHEV, you're always going to get more power. We're really diving more so into the electrified class. So really, I think it's about kind of where the automotive industry is headed and making sure that we're catering to every type of consumer as well.
Not too long ago that I took the VW Transporter down to Mpumalanga for a nice lekker review and road trip. And remember, on that same review, I did mention that VW and Ford have an alliance, and they have created now the VW Transporter as well as the Ford Tourneo. Now, you do see a lot of similarities, but in the same way, I do think both brands have put their own DNA and twist on the car, and this does look so much like a Ford car. Now, just looking at the design, you have these LED matrix lights. They are very entrenched in Ford's DNA and how they just design their cars. But more prominently, what they have added on this has to be these decals that do show that sport element around the car. Coming over to the side of the car, you have the standard 19-inch alloy wheels. These have been upgraded from the normal 17s that you will have in other derivatives. You have this big side mirror that will give you a clearer view of your surroundings because this is quite a big car, so that definitely will come in handy. Below is that sporty trim and decal that goes throughout the car, just enhancing that sportiness. In the rear, I do love these rear taillights. I do think they actually make the car stand out. They remind me a lot of the Ford Puma. You also have additional rear spoilers added on the Ford Custom. They have also added a new rear bumper that has sensors as well as a reverse camera. And in the boot area, you do have decent amount of boot space because you can put your bags and your luggage upright. I mean, I think up to 6 bags will fit in there quite comfortably. The rest could probably be lugged inside. Right, so let's jump inside. Convenient thing is that you can open the car by a press of a button. We'll start in the rear this time. I hardly ever start with the rear of the car, but I mean, it is a people mover. So I really want to start with how it feels back here. It is a 6-seater facing each other, but that also can be configured to the second row of seats facing forward as well. And if you ever found yourself needing more space, you actually can take these seats out. And that's the great thing about how versatile this car is. You have 2 charging cables over on my right hand side, 2 on my left hand side. These are C-type charging ports. You also have a cup holder on either side. Great thing is that you can also slot your phone in there and just have a good time, relax and enjoy the long ride. I'm going to jump in front and show you what you get as a driver, and then we're going to go for a little bit of a drive. The cabin is a reminder that Ford and VW have that alliance going on, because it was just yesterday that I was in this exact cabin. It does feel very much the same in here, and I don't have any quarrels with that at all. This is a 13-inch digital screen, and it also is compatible with Apple CarPlay as well as Android Auto. You have a seat that is integrated with leather as well as cloth material. That sporty element and feature really coming through. Overall, I will say that cars like this, people movers, do excite you and want you to tackle the road. And talk about tackling the road, it is time for me to tell you how this baby drives. Said themselves that they would love to sell this car to a consumer who is living their life on the edge, who's very adventurous and very sporty. Under the hood, you're still getting the 125 kilowatt, 360 Newton meters, 4-cylinder turbo diesel engine, and I do think that it is slightly underpowered. I'm actually going to try to take it up an incline. Yes, it feels very underpowered, which is actually quite sad, because with those decals that we do have and the sporty nature of the car, it really would have been great to have just a little bit more oomph. Other than that, it does offer quite a comfortable drive. The steering wheel feedback is good, and it really does drive quite smoothly on the road. We are running at 8.6 liters, which has been on the higher end of what I've been achieving so far. I have been able to get it down to about 7.1, which really is quite impressive. Also, driving this car does not make you feel like you are driving a bus. It has a car-like feel, and I do think Ford has been able to achieve that magnificently. Pricing for this car will set you back 1,218,000 Rand for this top spec Ford Tourneo Sport Custom. While competition for this car include the VW Transporter and the Mercedes-Benz Vito, I do think what this car has above the later mentioned models has to be the standout factor, presence and overall style. However, as cool as this car looks, I would rather take the mid-spec active trim, save some coins and go on more enjoyable trips with the family.
Of course, it's no Focus ST, but for the family man or woman who still hankers after their robot racing days, the Tourneo Custom Sport may be just the thing. And on that note, we've come to the end of yet another episode. Gentlemen, it has been fantastic talking to you. Thank you for your varied opinions. And in the next episode of Ignition GT, Z will be back and she brings you her driving impressions of the highly anticipated all-new Audi A5. We drive the 7th generation Nissan Patrol in Egypt, and I spent some time with what could be the best value for money offering in the Ranger lineup from Ford.